From Studio A in Las Vegas, how you guys doing? It's Joe Greer, Pedro Jose Greer, for Cuba Pete, No Laughing Matter, our podcast that looks at the interaction between society, healthcare, and health education. Well, guess what? We've been doing this for a couple of years, or a little bit more than a couple of years, and we have some great episodes. So you know what? It's time to go into the vault. It's time to pull out those guests that came here and makes us an impactful statement on how we can improve healthcare, what can we do differently in society, but most importantly, is so that you, the listener, get to meet these incredible personalities that are doing things to make this world better. Stay tuned for Cuba Pete, because we have new episodes and we have some great episodes from the vault. So from Studio A in Las Vegas, have a great day, and let's make the world just that much better.
They call me Cuban Pete. I'm the king of the rumba beat. When I play the maracas, I go chick chiggy boom, chick chiggy boom. Hey!
Welcome to No Laughing Matter with Cuba Pete, a show that takes a critical look at the disparities between medical school education and society's growing healthcare inequities. Join Dr. Pedro Cuba Pete Greer each episode as he interviews the experts working to transform medical education and ensuring that future doctors are trained to provide equitable and compassionate healthcare for all communities. Dr. Greer received the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2009, honoring his dedication to providing health care to underserved populations. As Dean of Roseman University College of Medicine in Las Vegas, Dr. Greer is committed to creating a medical school of the future where students embrace the need to unite the heart and science of healthcare. And now, the host of No Laughing Matter with Cuba Pete, Dr. Pedro Cuba Pete Greer.
Welcome to Studio A in Las Vegas. Hi, I'm Pedro Jose Greer. They call me Joe. And welcome to Cuba Pete, No Laughing Matter. We are a podcast. I am the dean at the Roseman University College of Medicine. And the idea of this podcast is to see the interaction with society, healthcare, and health education. Why is that important? We do know that educational attainment is consistent with longevity, as opposed to not. We know that living in a proper environment is as such, as well as having the emotional content to be able to survive in this society. One of the great things about this podcast is the spectacular individuals that we bring. Individuals that are doing things for society that one could never imagine. Individuals that have a background that you can never imagine how that background could bring them to where they're at. And the most incredible thing about that, it's all happening here in Vegas. And today I have the great honor of Kelvin Watson. Kelvin Watson is the executive director of the Las Vegas Clark County Library District. He's got a simple little budget of $77 million. He's only in charge of 600 employees, 25 branches, and over 3.2 million items in the collection that he oversees. He is one of the most highly respected leaders in the library industry in this country today. In 2023, the American Library Association gave him the Medal of Excellence. In 2022, he made digital access available on buses for those that are members of the library. By the way, it costs this much to be a member of the library. With that, he won the Future Award from the American Library Association. He bought the most emerging technical award and the Urban Libraries Council for Top Innovator as an honorable mention. The first time we met at one of his libraries. It was the most incredible thing that has ever happened. Now, I've gone to libraries my whole life. My wife is a library file. I mean, she is to the point where both of my kids were liberal arts major, philosophy and religious studies or international studies, and she doesn't think they read enough. okay? She's upset that they don't have a library card for every city they have lived in. And we get to the library for a meeting at 10. So I'm there a little earlier. The library opens at 10. Something I had never seen in my life, going to libraries my whole life because I love books. A line. There was a line waiting to get in the library. There was no movie at 10 in the morning. They were just resources for the community, starting with literature. It was unbelievable. Walking into this branch, which is not unlike other branches, they had a theater. They had a gallery. They had 3D printing. He showed us these machines were eventually put in different malls where kids, if you want to check out a book, you can check it out right there in the kiosk. That if you go on the bus, you get all the digital stuff from the library, movies, books, whatever you want. My wife is in love with this system, with the fact that she can not only order books online, but she can get books online and read them. And then I remember one time she waited too long to read a book and it expired on the plane flight, so she had to recheck it out. So these are things that we have here that nobody has. We have one of the great leaders in library sciences. And this is a science. I was fascinated by the fact that his library system not only offers courses on taxes for individuals during tax times, but you know what? If you're a mother and you can't afford toys, you can check out age-appropriate toys. You could do 3D printing. They have a section that's called the teen section, which no adults are allowed. If I can get my hair to be black again, maybe I could sneak in, but didn't quite make it. They checked my ID. We both come from South Florida. He originally is a Midwesterner from St. Louis, and we'll talk about that, because the Midwest is like the nicest people in the world. He's from Broward County, Fort Lauderdale. In 2021, he was the Margaret E. Monroe Library Adult Services Award in all of Florida. He was a Librarian of the Year for the entire state of Florida in 2019, and in the American Library Association, the Broward County Libraries of the Future, he was named. Before that, he came from Queens. That's right. And he was in that library system. But folks, you are looking at a veteran, a commissioned officer who served our country not just in the military, but in the military reserve. Now the big question comes, what does a commissioned officer know about, and how do you get into the library system? And number one. Number two, it's not just leading a library system. You do some of the most innovative things I have ever seen in my life, and I'm a lot older than you.
Yeah.
So
I would say that, what does a commissioned officer know about a library? Nothing. I would say that really what I do is I serve, like I served in the military. That's what I know. I know about service. I know about being a leader and being creative. I landed in libraries by accident. I was working after the active service. I was working at a book distribution company, and the book distribution company sold books to schools, libraries, bookstores. Actually, we were Amazon before Amazon, believe it or not. And so one of their channels...
Amazon without the baggage.
Amazon without the baggage, but when they first only were selling books, though.
Yeah.
we were the behind the scenes, and I maybe would tell that story or some of those stories as well. But I ended up working in libraries, helping at this company make library books, because if you can buy, let's say To Kill a Mockingbird, you can buy that from any place.
Right.
But to turn it into a library book with a spine label, cover, that's what I did initially. And then I moved into sales. I like librarians. They were the greatest people ever. And I joined the Black Caucus of the American Library Association.
Really?
And had a lot of mentors, and they're like family. And ultimately, that's how I went to library school and became a librarian, and the rest is the story that we'll talk about.
So where'd you go to college?
So I've gone to a few colleges. I received my undergraduate degree in business with a minor in military science from Lincoln University in Missouri.
Sure.
I received my Master's of Library Service, my library sciences from North Carolina Central in Durham, North Carolina. And I recently graduated a few weeks ago with my MBA from Georgia Southwestern State University.
And you've also done a few little certificate things at MIT.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
You
those.
forgot about that.
So during the pandemic, I took some online courses through MIT, one being in cybersecurity, one being in machine learning, and one in artificial intelligence.
Incredible. And you're a member of 3 very special fraternities.
3 special fraternities. One is Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, which is a African-American fraternal organization. Another is Sigma Pi Phi fraternity, which I just became a member of a few weeks ago, which is the first African-American male professional. It's a professional fraternity. And then Beta Phi Mu, which is a library organization.
It's also an honor society. It's not just an organization, okay? It's an organization that those with honors get into. And something happened 2 days ago. You are one of the trailblazers, African-American trailblazers of the year for
the city of Las Vegas.
For the city of Las Vegas. Yeah. He's also had the Medal of Excellence from the American Library Association. He can't have a business card because it's too long.
We started talking about all of that stuff. Yeah, I've had an opportunity to get a lot of honors.
Well deserved.
The things that I've done in Vegas. In October, the NAACP gave me an award as well. And a Visionary Award, their Visionary Award in October, which actually happened the day before my birthday, so that was a great birthday gift. And the county, Clark County, has provided opportunities for proclamations and the work. I have some other distinct things, like you mentioned the ALA Libraries of the Future, right? So I've actually have 4 of those.
Really?
So I'm.
and by the way, if you're a young entrepreneur and you don't have the money, you can go to the Clark County or Las Vegas Clark County library system. And you know what? You can have space to work. You can check out a laptop. You can check out a cell phone. Things that give people opportunities. The importance of reading, I cannot emphasize enough. Especially for a child that's growing up anywhere. Reading opens the world. It makes you visualize what you read. It makes you read about different cultures, about different people, about different times, different areas. And all those things make us better human beings, period. And that's something that we don't realize. But he has taken this library system to beyond going in and checking out a book. Encouraging reading for teenagers, not looking at your phone, unless you've checked out a book online. Then you could look at your phone.
Well, this is one of the ideas that I've been successful at leading organizations, coming in and changing the views about what a library actually is, right? The library is whatever you want the library to be. Mm-hmm. It's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, especially with online. And so I have looked at how we can expand here in Vegas. So we will soon have library access in some of our hotels here.
Oh, really?
For guests and for the employees. Remember I said it's about service, right?
Right.
So if you're a service worker and you're always working and you never get a chance to go to the library, why don't I bring the library to you? And
you know what else I would do? I'm just throwing this out. but in hospital systems in the waiting room.
Sunrise Hospital actually has one of those kiosks now.
Okay, there you go.
I'm
There you go. He's already ahead of me. He's ahead of me.
I'm already ahead.
I got to shave my head. That way I can be as smart as you.
Oh.
I got to ask you a question. You have a football ring on there. What is that?
Actually, this is my fraternity ring.
That's your fraternity ring.
It's one of them. Yeah. So what it says is it's Kappa Alpha Psi
Okay.
and Phi Nu Pi and some other things on it. But
It's a beautiful ring.
The one thing I'll say about my fraternity, and you heard when we were talking earlier, I was saying I'm an overachiever.
Right, to say the least.
So the fundamental purpose of the organization is all about achievement.
Okay.
And so that's what I strive to do, not only in my personal life, professional, teaching, leading, service.
Kelvin, growing up,
Yeah.
what drove you to be like you are?
That's an interesting question. So what drove me to be what I am is because I didn't want to, I didn't just want to be like everybody else aspired to be growing up in St. Louis, like the kids in the neighborhood, right? I think the most professional folks that we knew were like teachers, of course, doctors, or work at the post office, right? I mean, the postman was like, that was like the job, right? Or a good job, like a government job. And so, you know, the other thing that I grew up with was, you know, most of the young men only lived to probably be about 21 years old. So I didn't want to be a statistic like that. So, so I just studied, you know, played sports, did my homework without my mother telling me to do it. And yeah, and I was an overachiever as a kid. And
Well, to me, it's amazing. Let's be very blunt. You grew up in the South. It's the Midwest, but you're in Missouri in St. Louis.
right.
St. Louis is the times I visited and consulted up there at WashU, is also a very segregated community,
Yes.
which doesn't offer a lot of opportunities for African Americans.
Right.
You broke every single mold possible.
I try.
Do you have
I
brothers
think
and
I'm doing
sisters?
good. I have a sister, and my brother passed away a couple of years ago.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So the oldest of three, and so my goal was to provide an example for them, and I'm doing now for my my niece and nephews as well.
And daughters.
And I have two daughters. Yes,
You have two daughters.
Two daughters.
That are brilliant.
I
I'm
think
going
they
to
are.
say the least.
think
And what
they
do they do now?
So my oldest daughter is 32.
Okay.
She'll be 33 in a couple of weeks, and she works in accounting for Thomson Reuters and lives in Dallas. And
Which, by the way, for those of you that are interested, becoming a CPA, there is an enormous shortage of CPAs in this country.
Yep.
And so these big firms are hiring. But look at that. And it also gives you a great financial background to be able to run your life.
right.
I'm in the sciences. I know nothing for finances. So I married an art historian, since she knows nothing for finances.
I know a little bit. And my youngest daughter, she's 17, and she'll be graduating from high school in a few months.
Oh,
and she
congratulations.
wants to be a forensic scientist.
Wow.
So talk about science. So she wants to be a forensic scientist, and we're getting the college acceptance letters and all of that stuff at this point.
Well, if she'd ever like to meet any of our researchers or anybody in the sciences, you have my number.
Yep.
Give me a call. It's your daughter. She will have the red carpet treatment,
Appreciate that.
okay? And for all you have done. What do you see in Las Vegas? I mean, one of the things I love about coming out here is to start a medical school out here. We had started one in South Florida, and I was offered jobs up and down the East Coast, up in Chicago, and there was something about Vegas. First of all, they need doctors.
Right.
Number one. Number two, nobody's looking at me under the microscope. Number three, I didn't have to follow those anchors of tradition of the East Coast that don't work.
Right.
I know that in my profession, which is academia, higher education, and medical school, It's an incredibly toxic environment and not a good environment to bring up students to have the virtues that you need to be a doctor. The things are not just about our passion and our sense of becoming something, but the fact that, like Kelvin, you become something, but you have the virtues. You have the virtue of humility, of compassion, of empathy, of how to lead. Because leadership is not doing it my way. It's getting people to all be on the same line and saying, let's accomplish this goal.
Yep.
And am I correct?
Yeah, I still use something that I learned from the military. I was an infantry officer, and so the idea is to get people to follow you, to take that hill, to do whatever is needed. And so those are my philosophies of leadership. I change organizations. Kelvin doesn't do this work, right? I come up with the ideas, the vision, the strategy, and the team will take the ideas and strategize around them and execute. And that's the thing. I get to get a little of the shine, and I try to push them out front to get their shine. But that's what it is. It's leading and understanding and recognizing that change is inevitable, and that's the leadership piece.
Not only is change inevitable, but we can control it. And that's the important part. I know from my own perspective, I hire people that I know that are smarter than me, but they have to be mission oriented. Because just being smart is a double-edged sword. But having the right mission, having the right virtues, doing it for the right reason, then you can make a difference.
Yeah.
And that becomes important. What do you see for library system in Las Vegas in the future, near future?
You know, libraries here in Las Vegas, we're still expanding. I touched on it a little bit and just said, how we're pushing the library outside of the walls, right? The library isn't just that building. The library, again, is everything. We've put, in the past year, we've put libraries in a halfway house at Casa Grande Transitional Center. We've worked with Hope for Prisoners in their counseling area where they're doing family reunification. There's a library there. We put libraries, as I mentioned, we're moving to put libraries in hotels and casinos.
Are you in prisons?
We will be in prisons. We're working with the director for the state of Nevada. They're going to be providing tablets to the prisoners, and the library system is supposed to be a part of that.
Fantastic. That is giving these individuals opportunities. We have two programs at the Roseman University College of Medicine. Actually, we have three, which I think we can work very closely. One of them, Genesis, which is our household-centered care model, where we take care of the most vulnerable families in Las Vegas and Clark County. We have over 100 households already, but these households have children and they have adults, and accessibility is difficult. But if we can get them library cards.
Yeah, we can get them library cards. We can get them, interestingly, partnerships has also been key here in Las Vegas. Just hearing what you're saying right now, I just met with folks over at PBS. They've got the resources, even along with the library.
My wife and I love PBS and NPR, so we're big donors.
Yeah.
And it's always nice when you donate to organizations because they ask for more. We have another one that's, because I'm a big believer that medical education should have social accountability, as we as a profession should, and it's called Empowered.
Okay.
And it's for opioid and substance and stimulant use disorders, pregnant women and mothers. So here you have these mothers and children. And it was started by Andrea Peterson when she was a neonatal ICU, and she kept seeing these kids that were addicted. And she tells me the story of what finally got her to start all this was a mother, and because she was addicted when she gave birth, she lost a child, and the child in the NICU, she would take a bus ride 2 hours every day to just sit next to her infant child. And Andrea, recent mother, had one horrible night with the kids up all night. And she gets to work, sleep deprived, upset, and all this. And this young woman comes in with a letter to the nurses and to Andrea, the pharmacist, saying how she hopes that one day she will have her child back. and she can't wait till the day or the evening where she has to be up all night taking care of her child. And Andrea says, I felt terrible. I was feeling angry about something that somebody was wishing for because they couldn't have it. And I was just thinking, she did a panel with 4 of these mothers and their kids. What a great opportunity for these children.
Yeah.
What a great opportunity for the mother. Because one of the things I loved when I went to the library, they had an area where the mothers and the infants were together, and they were easily 10, 15 mothers and their kids, and all the toys and the kids interacting and all that. To me, it was a place I've always loved. I got to give you my claim to fame is my elementary school named a library after me.
Oh, that's great.
So, and I always told them when they named it after me, I said, I'm not dead yet. But it was an idea of what, because my grandmother, my wife, my mother, I mean, it was always about books. We had books everywhere. We had Encyclopedia Britannica. You ask a question, go look it up.
Right.
We had a giant library, dictionary in the house. You ask the definition of a word, look it up. You want to know how to spell it? Look it up.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent all my time looking it up, and now I realize that kids can do it online in like 30 seconds. I remember in medical school, we weren't online quite yet. We had a thing called a medical medicus. So you'd go to the attic of the medical library where they had every single journal ever printed. Wow. You had to find the journal. You had to get the journal out and then photocopy it at a nickel a page. Then you had to look at all the references to the articles you were reading and then pull out those articles. Mm-hmm. We spent more time looking for articles in literature than we did actually reading it.
Right.
But, and then they came out with the discs. And so it was like, wow, you do that quickly. That's amazing. But what you've done is just spectacular to me. The books are still the center case. Yeah. But what goes on around it, what brings people in, makes for a better society. A well-educated society is a friendlier society. From my perspective as a physician, it's a healthier society.
Yes.
And it offers people opportunities. The child that reads about the world is going to do great in an interview because they can discuss things. I'd rather have a kid with the light on under the sheets at night reading a book than staring at their phone and playing these different games. Today we have had the pleasure of meeting one of the great individuals of our society. And when I say that, I mean beyond America.
Thanks.
Individuals like Kelvin that do this and are awarded appropriately and should be awarded even higher are things that make our society better. You are definitely going to be lecturing to our medical students.
Look forward to it.
And I tell you why. They're great at reading science literature. I need them to read about the world because that's what people are.
Yes. And
get their students, or their patients also to do the same. Kelvin, how are we going to make the world better? That's a quick 30-second answer, by the way.
We're going to make it better one person at a time.
That is the truth. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Thank you.
With the work you're doing, sir, you will be back.
Thank you.
And you're also going to be at the med school, so don't worry about that. We'll get you a white coat. I don't know if you want that. So, from Studio A in Las Vegas, Nevada, let's make the world better. Get your library card. It costs this much. Let's read. Let's be an educated society. Let us be really the best society we can. Thank you.
If you enjoyed today's podcast, please subscribe, like, and comment on your favorite podcast platform. If you'd like to support the groundbreaking work that Dr. Greer is doing at the Roseman University College of Medicine, please donate at the link below. Thanks for tuning in to No Laughing Matter with Cuba Pete, as together we work to unite the heart and science of healthcare to serve all in our communities. See you next time.